everyone, good morning, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I talk all about embroidery, applique, Etsy, and running your own small business from home here on my channel. So today I'm just going to bring you guys along as I'm working. It is Friday and it's not quite as early as it normally is when I start this. It's 5:30. I didn't set an alarm and woke up at 4:45. I figured I needed to sleep in a little bit. But so getting a little later start, but the good news is I'm prepped and ready to go today. I have all my files already set up. I have everything already sorted out, so I'm ready to jump in right now and actually get my machines going. I don't normally get my machines going when everyone else is sleeping just because I don't want to risk people waking up, but I have to be out of the office for several hours this morning, most of the morning actually, for an appointment. So I'm going to go ahead and work because I need at least I think 2 of these done before I leave because I need to ship UPS. So I need to have them ready for the driver or so I can drop them off while I'm in town. But I have quite a bit to do today. I think I have 5 kids shirts left, 4 or 5 kids shirts. I think one's not going to get done today because it's coming UPS. I had to order one from AJ Blank specifically for that order. So it's not going to ship out today. But the other 4 should, and then I have about 20 jackets left to go. I haven't done a full count, but it's somewhere in that range. But all the files are set up. I am waiting to hear back from a couple of my customers on details that they did not include on their order. So I'm going to go ahead and get my machines oiled for the day. I only oil my machines once a day. I clean out the bobbin area, put a little oil in. I only oil the needle bars as needed. I don't do that on a regular basis. And I don't oil every shirt. I've heard some people do that. I don't do that. Just once a day in the bobbin case, just on the days that I use the machine. Here's my cat. And so if I don't use the machines the day, I don't oil them that day. But if I use them long term all day, and it sounds like it needs it again, then I'll go ahead and re-oil the bobbin in the bobbin case again. But otherwise I don't worry about it. I'm gonna do that, get my stabilizers all prepped. I don't have that part of it done. That should be quick and easy. And then go ahead and get machines going. Like I said, I need to get several of these done before I leave for this appointment this morning. And then I just need to get the rest of them done to ship this afternoon, which is probably not even possible. But I'm gonna get as much done as I can, like usual. So before I jump in and get started with embroidery machines, I wanted to kind of show off a new project I did. So you may have heard me say before that I have a sublimation printer, but I don't really put it to use. It's an older SG 400 Sawgrass. So the newer one that's comparable is an SG 500. So they don't make these anymore. And I know Epsons are super popular now, but when I bought this, Epsons really were not a good option because they had so many problems with clogging. So I did spend the money when I invested in this and get the Sawgrass. There's plenty of Epsons now that sounds like they're a great option too, at a more affordable price. But that's what I have, so it's what I'm going to use until the ink runs out, and then I'm going to hopefully upgrade. But all that to say, I've not used it a lot on adult items because the design feels a little small. I've been pretty selective on my design size to make sure it maxes out the 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper, but that pretty much limits you, and even on some sizes that still seems too small. So I watched Liz's tutorial over at Coffee Powered Home on how to split designs, and I kind of took that and did my own version of it in Photoshop and split a design to try out. So this is what I came up with. This is a pre-bought design from Monogram Moments. This is a 50-50, 50% polyester, 50% cotton sweatshirt. It's a Gildan. This is after washing. It was just a little bit brighter before I washed. I was actually very impressed that it was that bright to start with, and even more impressed that it was still this bright after washing. It definitely gives a very vintage print, but I think I'm going to go ahead and list these and maybe do some mock-ups and just decrease the opacity on them so you get a realistic look on how these are going to look. They definitely are vintage looking. I don't think you could pull this off with designs that need nice crisp black lines, obviously. But these watercolor type designs or ones that look a little bit more vintage to start with, I think these are probably good options for 50-50 sweatshirts. So I'm going to stop rambling about that. If you guys would like a tutorial on something like this, I know I don't do a lot of sublimation, but I have done it for years, just not a lot. And it's not my main business or even something I've really added to my business much over the years. But if you guys would like a tutorial on how I did this, I'd be happy to share. Just let me know down below.
So this is another shirt that I'm doing today. It used to be one of my most popular, but I used to have this listed with a different fabric that ran out of stock. And since I put a new sample up like a year ago, I think this is maybe the first time it's sold. So that's interesting. I just thought maybe mermaids went out of style or something. I don't know. Or they just don't like my fabrics. But anyways, I'm actually showing you this so you can see one of the issues I have with some people's digitizing. So this is a design off Etsy, and it stitches out like the final product looks well if I make adjustments. So you'll see a little bit better when I go to do the mermaid skin. But what I've done is basically tore this design apart. When it does the tack down and placement, you'll see that I actually removed part of it, and I just cut it and leave it like hanging there. And what I'm going to do after it stitches out like where the mermaid goes, I don't want that light fabric sitting here on, because my mermaid has a light skin tone on this specific order, and it's going to show through. Like once I remove the backing, it's going to show through, and I don't want to see that through my skin tone of my mermaid. So what I'm going to do is let it stitch out the next one, and then I'll trim away that excess fabric. That's just the easiest way I found to do it. You could just you could trim it after like it runs, but then you're going to have, in this example, purple tack down and placement stitches, and you're going to still see those even if you remove the fabric underneath this light of a fabric. So I'll show it a little bit better once I get this tack down done. So on this one, the brown for the hair is kind of going to do the same thing. I have it edited in my software. I use MetroPro to edit. Can you do it in Embroidery? Probably, but I don't know how as well. Could probably figure it out. But so you'll see this more over on this side here now. It might be actually kind of hard to see on the screen, but there's no stitching right here. So what I'm going to do is I just go straight, and then there's no stitching over here. So that way, when I need to trim, I don't have to worry about going through there. I just want to make sure I'm leaving enough fabric there, though, that it covers. So now I've ran the placement stitch for the body, and now you'll see exactly why I edited this design. So I can trim out easily without showing any stitching underneath this mermaid. So see how that would look if you stitch the body out? You'd see that under part of the body and then part not under other parts. Honestly, that's kind of one of my biggest pet peeves when I see people posting pictures and stuff of their finished products and you can see the fabric underneath. And to me, that's not professional. It looks sloppy. Again, like I said, that's just my personal opinion. I'm never going to call someone out or point someone out on that, but it would not be something I would want to send to my customer. So I go to the extra work. I edit the design on this one. Like I said, this is from Etsy. This is a good design, don't get me wrong, but a true high quality digitizer is going to digitize this so that you don't have to do this extra step. So there we go. So that's why I left those areas open. I cut the stitching out on my software. So now when I place this down, it's going to run that tack down and it's not going to layer those fabrics. Now, if I was using a super dark skin tone fabric, you know, I might not need to do that. But even then, I mean, that's a pretty bold print. Or if you have a darker, even darker hair color, like a black hair color, you're still going to see that through. And again, I just think it looks more professional with that trimmed out. It is a lot of extra work, an extra step. I actually used to do so many of these and it drove me crazy because it's extra work each time. And I almost dreaded doing these. Like I said, I don't think I've had an order for one of these in like a year since I switched the fabrics that I use on it. One rush order down. This one's done and ready to be packaged for UPS. It is just after 6:30, so that's perfect. Plenty of time. So what I do on these, I just trim what few little jump threads there are. Unfortunately, this one has several. But but it's a great design otherwise. This one is digitized well. Like when they digitize the ball, they digitize just that part of it. And same with this one. So that way you're not getting those overlapping fabrics. And you don't have to worry about see-through or cutting those out yourself, editing them out. It does it for you. So that's great. So there's the jump stitches all cut. Yes, even on multi-needles, you sometimes have to trim a few here and there. I like to pull out as much of the tearaway stabilizer as comes out easy. I don't pick out every little piece, but you do want to get a good portion because as you're washing as the customer, I guess, is washing the item, some of these will pull away from those stitches, and you don't want it like bunching up or underneath, especially if you're putting Tender Touch. You don't want that bunching up underneath the Tender Touch. So I just trim around it. Nice rounded edges. I stay like a 1/4 to 1/2 inch away so that you're keeping that nice stabilization that the stabilizer is there for. Again, I know I preach this all the time, but your stabilizer is not just for stitching. It's for holding those stitches and fabric and everything on that garment permanently. Yes, these shirts are good quality. They're better than just like any random t-shirt. This interlock knit is much better at holding stitches, but you really need that cutaway to hold everything in place. That's what it's meant for. So I'm going to go ahead and Tender Touch this, and then I'll get it packaged. So for rush orders, I do require my customers get pre-approval from me before I will take the order. If they just place the order, I message them if I can't do it and then cancel it, or let them know I can. But I do ask specifically on the item before it's even purchased that if it's a rush order, they need to contact me for prior approval. I don't charge rush fees anymore. I used to, but now I've just gotten to the point I only take the order if I can do it without interfering with my own schedule. And then I do also list options for them to upgrade their shipping, whether it's a rush order or not, within the cart. If anyone wants to see how to do that on Etsy, I'd be happy to show how you can set those up. But I've found that I just offer first class shipping as my free option, where I've built in the pricing into the pricing. Then I offer an upgrade to the post office priority mail. I see quite a few people take advantage of that. I don't really think it's always faster, but sometimes it is. Usually if they want a rush order, I kind of push UPS shipping. So Etsy does not give you UPS shipping label options, but I use a third-party integration to do my UPS shipping. I use Shippo. There's many options that you can use that integrate with Etsy, Shopify, everything. Shippo just seemed to be the easiest for me. It's the first one I tried. It was easy. I tried one other and it just I don't know, it's cumbersome to work. Shippo's easy, especially now that I have presets set. I can just choose the size and weight of my package from my presets, and it shows me the rates for both USPS and all different types of UPS shipping. So if it's a rush order, I usually suggest UPS ground. That's usually as fast as priority, but more reliable. Or I have options for UPS 2-day. There is a UPS next day or next day air saver. Those costs seem to vary a lot more depending on the person's location, versus I can charge kind of a flat rate for the 2-day and the ground that I know will cover 90% of shipping for 90% of the customers. So this person chose UPS 2-day. So what I did was I opened up my Shippo account just in the browser. It's integrated with my Etsy shop. I could find the order right there, and I clicked and bought my shipping label, almost like you would on Etsy. If you have it integrated with your Etsy shop, it goes ahead and marks that order as complete and sends them their tracking number through Etsy as well, so it's not an extra step that you have to do. The only issue I run in with it is that I have 2 Etsy shops, and I can only integrate one of my shops with Shippo. Otherwise, I'd have to have a second Shippo account. So what I do is, right now, my adult and monogram shop, I've been doing more UPS than my kids shop. So I took my kids shop off of my Shippo account and added my monogram shop. And then if I have one that needs to go for my kids shop like I did today, I just manually entered the address and everything. And then I did have to copy and paste to complete the tracking on my Etsy shop. But I don't do a lot of it, enough to make it worthwhile having 2 different accounts. So I just kind of toggle back and forth between which shops integrated.
So I'm back from the errands I needed to run. It's a little after 11. I have 2 shirts finished. One of them's actually already shipped with UPS, but one finished while I was gone. I have 2 more to go. A unicorn one and 2 wild, like jungle themed one. So I'll do those on this tit needle. And then I have like 20 more jackets to go. I think I counted 21. One of them, though, I'm still waiting to hear back from the customer, so I'm not sure if I'll get that one done today or not. But otherwise, it's 11. I still got quite a bit to do. So I'm probably not going to get it shipped today, but I'm hoping I can at least get everything finished and stitched, and then I can drop off the rest of them at the post office tomorrow morning.
So it's quite a bit later. It's 2 o'clock. It's an update, and I have all the t-shirts done, all the kids' shirts. I just need to heat press one of them still, the Tender Touch. And then I have almost all the jackets done. I'm waiting for 2 customers to get back from me, but I have a total of 2 monograms to do, 2 jackets, plus names on these others. So it looks like I might even get these all done to ship today. Like I said, I am waiting on 2 customers to get back to me, though. They may not ship theirs. So I have 2 t-shirts I need to monogram. One's a long sleeve and one's a short sleeve. So I'm just going to show how I hoop these real quick. I do use Mighty Hoops for these, and I use the Hoop Master fixture. I have a very specific video that goes over in detail how I use it, so I'm just going to link that. But basically what I do is I have specific numbers that I use for each size. I came up with these on my own based on where I like the monograms to be placed on each size for unisex shirts. So this is a medium. I put my bottom ring down or hoop down first. I put my stabilizer in and thread the shirt over the base. Make sure it's nice and straight using the top seams and the center. Warning label goes up, and then the little nuts on there, the screws, slide into the grooves on here, and then you literally just snap it down. So the next one I have to do is actually a 4XL, which does not really fit on here. So what I do is I put it down to the area I want it, and then over as far as it will let me. And I'm going to move my board off to the side for a second. I'm going to place a dot sticker on this one where I want the monogram to be, so I can just make sure that I'm getting it in the center of my hoop. So I do still use the hooping board with it. So I kind of demonstrated this on a live recently, but how I normally find where I want the top center of my design on jackets is I come down from the sleeve, and then I find like the midpoint here. That's probably like top center. Now on this, like I said, it's a 4XL unisex, so I am going to put it down, and I'm going to put it over from that seam just a little bit, not a lot, and then I am going to drop it down about 2 inches because I want this to be the center, not the top center. So that's pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and get my other hoop out, which I forgot. Alright, let me move that out of the way. So, bottom hoop, then your stabilizer. I often forget to put my bottom hoop in first. I use sticky spray just because I use a smaller piece of poly mesh than what actually is going to hold in here with the holder. That's the only reason I use it. Otherwise, you do not have to use spray adhesive with the Mighty Hoops. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to thread my shirt on. Now my process with this is a little bit different. I do center it, make sure it's nice and centered to start with, so that way it's straight and my monogram's not going to be crooked. So I really need this about here. So what I do is I just make sure when I move it, I'm not moving it so that it's going to make it crooked. It's kind of a delicate process, not the most exact, but I need to get, I think there's an extension or a plus size board that would be great to have for these situations. I just don't have it, and I also don't know that I have the room for it. So I'm just visually like putting this in the center of where the hoop's going to be, and that was actually pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and get these monograms. Like I said, I have 2 more jackets to go, plus I think 2 or 3 names on jackets. Otherwise, I'm actually finished for the day at 2:20, so that's doing really good, especially since I was gone most of the morning.
Hey guys, so thanks so much for joining me today. I just finished everything that was left. Most of the orders got taken to the post office. There's a few stragglers that I didn't quite get packaged. So I finished those up and packaged them now. I'll take them first thing in the morning. And then I had a little time while I was packaging those to make myself something. So since it's Friday here in Illinois, that means Friday night football. So we're going to our local football game because we love football here. And I made myself a crew neck sweatshirt a couple weeks ago because it was actually kind of cool then, but it's 90 degrees outside right now. So that's not really appropriate. So I made myself a little crew neck t-shirt today with just the name of our local team curved there at the neckline. I didn't get it quite close to the neckline as I'd like, so that was my fault. But if you guys would like to see how to curve those on the neckline, I'd be happy to do a video on that. But just let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next time.